Hi there everybody, good afternoon. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. It's time for our daily wriggle. Maybe you've wriggled already, but let's wriggle some more. So we're going to be on the floor today, seated mainly. So you just want a little bit of room around you. And you can start with your feet on your mat or on the floor. Find your sitting bones, so have a little rock side to side. And just take a little moment to see what it feels like to sit upright. So how tall can you feel through your spine? Now just check in with the front of the hips, the hip flexors, how they're feeling. They might start to grip a little bit in this position. So just take a moment to lengthen the legs away, and you can point and flex sort of through the feet as you go. So just taking a moment, still maintaining that lovely tall spine from your sitting bones, but sliding the foot on the floor, flexing, pointing. It's not overly strained and bringing it back through. You can use your hands wherever you need a little bit of support. That's it. And then come back to this position. Take your hands slightly behind you. Doesn't matter what position they're in. Just make sure it's the full of the palm on the floor. And let the knees drop side to side. So just windscreen wiper the legs side to side. So you get a little rock going on in the hips and the pelvis and the body. You might get the odd click and clunk. That's okay. Nice, and then come back through the centre. So we're trying to find ease in this position more and more with everything we do. And then we want to sweep into our Z sit. So your right leg is in front and your left leg is back behind you. And it's quite nice just to stir the body round. So it's almost like you're stirring in your pelvis. Imagine your pelvis is a big bowl and you're just rocking around in it, and then in the opposite direction. We're going to do 4 like this, and then we're going to switch the Z sit. Nice. And then we switch the Z sit round, so the left leg comes in front and the right leg goes back behind you. So if I was on my mat, this would be in line with, perpendicular to the outside edge, and then my other shin may be in line with my mat. And same thing, can you circle around? Don't worry if both sitting bones aren't on the floor. And that if one side feels easier than the other, that's totally natural. And then can you go in the opposite direction? My stormtroopers having a party here. Good. And then we're going to continue to move through our Z sit. Switching through, easing in, and you'll notice that you are circling the body in order to switch the legs. So you come out and around over that knee, move back through the pelvis and bring the legs in front and out and around. So now you're circling around this ball. Very nice. And then bring both legs back out in front of you again. Feet come onto your mat, find your sitting bones, sit up lovely and tall. And then we're going to take the legs out a little bit so they're straight. They have a sense of length through them, and you're going to walk on your sitting bones backwards and forwards. So almost like a sort of 3-year-old toddler shuffle going on. So you're walking backwards on the sitting bones. The body is staying lovely and long. And you can go the full length of your mat, and then you want to walk forwards. So you're inviting the pelvis to find a little bit more range again, and for the hip flexors to maybe switch off a little bit, the legs to be soft. So have that lovely, long, tall spine going on. Just helping find space and range through the hips. One more time back. Have a bit of fun with it. And then forwards. Coming to rest in the mat again. Windscreen wiper the legs. Good, and then come back into your seated positions. We're going to keep the knees soft and bent. You want to keep them in a parallel position. You might want to put a cushion between your knees just to keep an eye on that. If at any point you are struggling, then do press them together so they find a little bit of feedback for each other, but it might feel more comfortable in a wider position anyway. So from this lovely long tall spine, we're going to move through the pelvis first and create a big C curve with the back line of the body. So the arms reach out, they've got a little sense of energy through the fingertips, and you move through the pelvis, so you tilt the pelvis. We talk about our pelvic tilt, our pelvic clock. So you're dropping back through into your 12 as your 6 o'clock, your pubic bone rolls through. And you're just letting the pelvis lead this sense of curve through the spine to a point where you feel you can keep and maintain your control, like you could have a conversation. And then you roll back up through. And when the shoulders come over the hips, you lengthen back up into that seated position. So same thing, starting with the pelvis. Lovely big exhalation usually helps. Rolling through, letting the pelvis do the work first. Check in with anything you're holding to create a big long C curve. So it's not about falling all the way back to the floor or dropping down. You've just got this lovely controlled C curve, and then you come back over the body, and when the shoulders move over the hips, you'll find that natural inclination to lengthen from your sitting bones back up. So it's that sense of the pelvis moving first and the sitting bones shining up the backs of the legs. Can you imagine sending your sitting bones up the backs of your legs? So let's do that one more time. Inhale to prepare, exhale and soften, sending those sitting bones up the backs of the legs, moving through the pelvis first, the back of the pelvis, sacrum, a little bit of the lower back, letting it come all the way up and connect with the head. So it's your one big long C curve. Inhale here, and then exhale, start to bring yourself forward, coming over the body a little bit, over the legs, and then lengthening up from your sitting bones. We're going to add on some arms to this exercise. So, staying here, let's work through that sense of control. Inhale to prepare. Exhale and soften. Find that pelvic tilt. The pelvis is rolling first. It's in the command, it's leading the action. Then from here, can you maintain this lovely big long C curve and reach your right arm back behind you? And then sweep it and bring it back through the center, and then your left. And back through the center, come all the way over the sitting bones, lengthen back up, rest your arms if you need to. We're going to go again, we're going to add on. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, soften and roll through those sitting bones again. Feel the pelvis move, feel that sense of tilt. Let the rest of the spine follow. Reach the right arm back and sweep it through, and then the left. This lovely controlled rotation. And you go again with the right. Can you swim it back through? That's it. And then with the left. And swim it back over and through. Come up over the pelvis. Lengthen up. Take a little moment here. Feel free to then take our little walks out through the fronts of the legs. And our windscreen wiping, if you want to, side to side. Nice. So now we know we can maintain that sense of control even when we're moving the arms. We're going to go into a little bit of rotational abdominal work as well. So again, feel free to play around with leg position if anything tight or gripping is going on in the hip flexors. And once you find something that you can work with, roll through that pelvis again. So imagine the sitting bones shining up the backs of the legs. The pelvis turns like a big set of wheels. It initiates the movements. You open through the hip flexors a little bit at the front. Feel that sense of release. Enjoy that. Note it and acknowledge it. Arms are reaching forward. And you bring the hands together quite softly, creating this big circle in front of your body. And then you're going to let the right elbow dip down towards the floor, and then the left to the other side. So you're just taking little twists, rolled back in this lovely deep C curve, keeping that sense of the pelvis having led the motion. Nice big deep exhalations. Use your breath. Last one. Reach the arms over, come all the way up and lengthen. And just soften over a little moment, have a little shake out. Do what you need to do. And then just move into your Z sitting again. You can use your hands. It just kind of releases anything that may have been gripping in the lower back, making sure that the pelvis is free and easy, that you can roll it over those thigh bones, heads of the femur with ease, and maintain a lovely big long back line through the body. So we're going to add on one more from that, taking it up maybe a little bit more in difficulty. Sitting bones are fine. Exhale, soften and roll through the pelvis first. Get that sense of moving through the pelvis to come into your big long C curve. From here, can you float one leg up to tabletop and then put it back down and then the other. So arms are still reaching forward. Feel free to support yourself if you need to. How does it feel to maintain that C curve? Lovely, come back up over the pelvis, lengthen, take a little moment. And then to finish this, just working through that strength through the front of the body. What would it feel like to inhale to prepare, exhale, move through the pelvis, send those sitting bones shining up the backs of the legs into your big deep C curve. Float one leg up to tabletop and then the other. Can you maintain this and keep reaching the fingers even beyond the toes? That's it. Feel free if you want to straighten the legs up. Support them if you need to. Listen to your body. Fabulous. Could we toe tap the right toes down and back up. And then the left. Well done. And then the right. And then the left. One more either side. Right toes down. And then the left. Fabulous. Bring one foot down and then the other. Come back up over the pelvis. Straighten up. Hold on to the front of the shins. Almost send your breastbone through. Just have that sense of stretch and resistance using the feedback of the legs and the hands. Nice. Soften the knees, come down into the Z sit, and you can go the other way. So now you can just actually rock side to side. And let the hips open. Nice work, everybody. And if they are feeling a little bit grippy still in the hip flexors, because sometimes they are, come into your cat and cow as we know. So taking a big deep exhalation as you round through the spine. Inhaling as you open and send the sitting bones back behind you. Feel free then to drop back into your child's pose. So maybe bring the big toes together, let the knees go wide. And reach away from the fingers. The sitting bones and the fingers have that oppositional reach from each other. Try and allow the sitting bones to relax, the glutes to relax, the front of the hips to relax. That sense of reach and energy through the fingers, but it's not overly strained. Forehead can come onto the floor if it's comfortable. Almost coming into an opposition, a relaxed extension, a stretch through the spine in comparison to the big deep C curve we've been keeping. And then feel free to thread and almost move the rest of the body through onto the floor. Let the arms lengthen, let the legs reach away from behind you and rock the pelvis side to side. Come back into shot. So you can have a little rock out, let the sitting bones relax, let the front of the hips open. So just have a little rock, give them feedback. Forehead can come down onto your hands. So you're just shaking the pelvis and the front of the body and those hip flexors side to side. So they'll be getting feedback from the floor as they come through. And then if you want to, you can bring the hands around in line with the shoulders, in line with the breastbone, and start to send the collarbones wide, the elbows down towards your heels to open up through the front of the chest a little bit. And if you feel comfortable with this and you're going to yoga classes regularly and you just want to open up through the body, then do. I'm not dropping into my lower back or my shoulders, so really push the floor away. Have that sense of suspending the body from the hands and the knees. And then from here, send your sling bones back behind you again into your child's pose. Take a few deep breaths here. Bring yourself back up onto all fours. Check in with how the body feels in this position. Your cat and your cow, your tail wag. Lovely. And then bring yourself to seated. How are you all feeling? Hope that was the wriggle you needed today. It was the wriggle I needed, something a little bit intense. It kind of got my body moving, but also sort of connecting with itself. We've only got 2 more days left. So see you again tomorrow for our daily wriggle, and maybe a slightly longer wriggle on Tuesday to finish. Take care, everybody, and have a wonderful Sunday evening.